I just can't stop myself from buying books. I can't say that I'm really ashamed of myself, though. Really.
Hello, booktubers. Welcome to my book haul for this weekend. This is the long version, and I have 7 or 8 physical books, and I have 2 ebooks to show you. On the 2 ebooks, I got the Iliad, and last week I hauled, I believe it was last week, I hauled an Easton Press version of the Iliad that was translated by Alexander Pope. This one is translated by Robert Fagles, and he translated these in the early 1990s, I believe. And this is one of the praised translations, if you will, of the more modern ones. So it sort of keeps with, I guess, from my understanding, kind of the verse that it was originally written in by Homer. Of course, that was written in Greek, ancient Greek. They have many, many other translations too. Some of them are like prose versions, which are kind of like a regular novel. And what I noticed about this one is that it doesn't rhyme. Whereas if you look at Alexander Pope's version, which was translated, you know, I really don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I'm thinking early 1800s. It was maybe even longer than that. It's still a very good translation. But it rhymes, so that means everything, he had to try to get everything in words and everything in the right meter and everything to rhyme. So it can be a little bit more difficult to read it because he had to find words to rhyme it, and I know I've said that over and over, but anyway. So this does not rhyme, but it is still in verse. So it's a little easier to comprehend. Another book that I got on here is, let me see if I can do this correctly now. Return to list. I'm returning to the list, and I'm going to go, the other one is the Odyssey, and that's going to load up here. And this kind of has a regular cover on it. The Iliad actually has a nice cover also, but for some reason they decided not to put the artwork within the book itself. I don't know why. So this one here they did. It's the black and white version, of course. This is kind of orange, I believe, if you looked at the actual cover version for the printed book. And I think that this one and the other one both also had maps in there. Let me look at the table of contents and see if this shows any maps or not. Pronouncing glossary, contents. I'm just looking to see if maybe, I'm not sure if there are maps in this one or not, but in any case, I haven't actually looked at the Odyssey one yet, so I'm not sure whether it rhymes or whatever. So if you're interested in those, Robert Fagles is the translator, a more modern translator, and I think you might like them. So here is my Easton Press book for this haul. And on my short video I was teasing people, but this here is actually a shield. This book is a leather rebound of an actual book that came out in 1951, and it was made into a blockbuster movie, and it is, if I can get this correctly here, it is Spartacus. This is the book, obviously, that the movie was based on, by Howard Fast, and this light that I have up here isn't allowing me to show this too well. I hope you can see that. So the back and the front are the same, and we'll do, this one didn't have too much of a creak or crack in it, and I haven't really opened it too much, so anyway, there's that. It does have a frontispiece, and there's the frontispiece and the whole, illustrated by Dan Brown. I do not believe it's the same Dan Brown who writes the books like the Da Vinci Code and that, but it's possible that it is. Who knows? And there is, yeah, I don't know if you can read that or not, 1951, And this one was 2011 by the Easton Press. It's part of their Reader's Choice 2010. I think it's called their number 5. And you can order this book. You do not have to be a subscriber to the Reader's Choice. If you are interested in getting it, they have 10 of these rebound type books out for this year. Here's another book. I believe I saw this on Deborah's Book Cafe, and it is The China Garden by Liz Berry. This is the hardcover edition, and the back is absolutely nothing. I really liked the softcover edition that Deb's had too. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and read this. I believe this is a YA book. When 17-year-old Claire Meredith moves in with her mother from London to Ravensmere, a historic English estate, she looks forward to a well-earned summer rest before entering university. Yet she can't shake the feeling that the village residents already know her, especially Mark, a troublesome biker whom she finds maddeningly attractive. Claire begins to have psychic visions and feels strangely compelled to take midnight walks in Ravensmere's abandoned China Garden. Then Claire's mother reveals that her own past is tragically tied to the estate, and Claire feels its spell more strongly than ever. But when she discovers that Ravensmere is in grave danger, will she risk her future and Mark's to save it? So I thought this sounded really interesting. I do not believe that the inside cover, let's see, yep, is anything special. So, and there's no illustrations or anything that I can see. So yeah, I do believe that is a YA book. I believe this is an adult book, Anita Shreve, The Weight of Water. And this is the hardcover version. Let's see. Okay, and I can read the synopsis of this. I believe, I'm trying to see when this was published. 1997. And I believe that Deb's had the soft cover version of this. And I think there's a picture of Anita on the back. I think she's actually collecting a lot of these Anita Shreve books. Okay, on a small island off the New Hampshire coast in 1873, 2 women were brutally murdered by an unknown assailant. A third woman survived the attack, hiding in a sea cave until dawn. More than a century later, a photographer, Jean, comes to the island to shoot a photo essay about the legendary crime. Immersing herself in accounts of the lives of the fishermen's wives who were its victims, she becomes obsessed with the barrenness of those women's days, the ardor-killing labor and long stretches of loneliness, the maddening, relentless winds that threatened to scour them off the rocky island. How could a marriage survive those privations? Was this misery connected to the killings? Jean's marriage is enduring heavy weather of its own. On the boat she has chartered for this project, she and her husband are falling apart. Their nights are full of drink and terrible silences, and Jean feels jealousy and distrust invading her life and her work. The forces that blasted the island a century earlier come alive inside Jean, bringing her to the verge of actions she never dreamed herself capable of, with no idea whether her choices will destroy all she has ever valued or bring her home safely. So I thought that sounded rather mysterious. So basically a century earlier all these things happen, and she's researching these things, and she's trying to figure out and finding out why some of that stuff happened in her life 100 years later. Margaret Atwood, A Handmaid's Tale. I love the little handmaids there that have the red and the little hats. You can see that there. And I believe this has been this has come out in many different editions with different covers, hardcover, soft cover. This is the one I like the best, so I picked the soft cover one. And I believe this was, did I say Margaret Atwood? I hope I did. 1986. And I don't know if it was older than that, or not, as far as if there was previous editions older than that. Let me see if I can find any kind of synopsis on this. Margaret Atwood, of course, is a very, very famous author, and I believe she's won awards and things like that. This does not have a synopsis in it, so I can't read one. Sorry about that. You can go on Amazon, they'll have it, and you can read a synopsis about that. The Kings of Colorado by David E. Hilton. Beautiful, beautiful cover. There is a side like that. And you can see how the front kind of goes around the back with the man on the horse there. Okay, a heartfelt portrait of a bygone age. William Shepard had never ventured beyond his Chicago neighborhood until at 13 he was sent away to the Swope Ranch Boys Reformatory, hundreds of miles from home, for stabbing his abusive father in the chest with a pocket knife. Ooh. Okay. Buried deep in Colorado mountains, Swope is shrouded in legend and defined by one prevailing rumor that the boys who go in never come out the same. Despite the lack of fences or gates, the boundaries are clear. Prisoners are days from civilization. There exists only one accessible road, except in the wintertime when it's buried under feet upon feet of snow, and anyone attempting escape will be shot down without hesitation in the shadow of the peaks. At 13,000 feet above sea level, the mountains aren't forgiving, and neither are the guards. With 24 months of hard time ahead of him, Will quickly learns to distinguish his allies from his enemies. He also learns about the high price of a childhood lost. At Swope, herds of Mustangs are trucked in to be broken by a select group of inmates. Once the horses are gentled, they are sold to ranchers and landowners across the Southwest. Horses come and go, delinquent boys come and go. The boys break the horses. Swope Reformatory breaks the boys. Throughout this ordeal, Will discovers 3 others who bring him into their inner circle. They are life preservers in a sea of violence and corruption, but if the boys are to withstand the ranch, they must first overcome tragedy and death, and a feat that could haunt them for years to come. So that sounds really, really good. So if this would be a good book for boys, written by a boy, that wasn't why I picked it. I just thought it sounded very, very interesting. So, Kings of Colorado by David E. Hilton. The Oracle of Stamboul. This is by Michael David Lucas. I believe this is an adult book. It does have you can hardly see that, maybe I can't tell, the deckled edge on there. It does have maps at the beginning of it and the end papers, and kind of a dark purplish color, and there's the hardcover itself. Let me go ahead and read this. It says, an elegantly crafted, utterly enchanting debut novel set in a mystical, exotic world in which a gifted young girl charms the Sultan and changes the course of an empire's history. Late in the summer of 1877, a flock of purple and white hoopos, H-O-O-P-O-E-S, suddenly appears over the town of Constanta, on the Black Sea, and Eleanora Cohen is ushered into the world by a mysterious pair of Tartar midwives who arrive just minutes before her birth. This is under quotes. They had read the signs, they said, a sea of horses, a conference of birds, the North Star in alignment with the moon. It was a prophecy that their last king had given on his death watch. Unquote. But joy is mixed with tragedy, for Eleanora's mother dies soon after her birth. Raised by her doting father, Jacob, a carpet merchant, and her stern, resentful stepmother, Roxandra, Eleanora spends her early years daydreaming and doing housework, until the moment she teaches herself to read, and her father recognizes that she is an extraordinarily gifted child, a prodigy. when Jakob, her father, sets off by boat for Stamboul on business. 8-year-old Eleonora, unable to bear the separation, stows away in one of his trunks. On the shores of Bosporus, in the house of her father's business partner, Mansef Bey, a new life awaits. Books, backgammon, beautiful dresses and shoes, markets swarming with color and life. The imperial capital overflows with elegance and mystery. For in the narrow streets of Stamboul, a city at the crossroads of the world, intrigue and gossip are currency, and people are not always what they seem. Eleanor's tutor, an American minister and educated, must or may be a spy. The kindly, though evasive, Mansef Bey has a past history of secret societies and political maneuvering. Let me get the back. And what is to be made of the eccentric, charming Sultan? Ooh, can't read his name. Beleaguered by friend and foe alike as his unwieldy, multi-ethnic empire crumbles. The Oracle of Stamboul is a marvelously evocative, magical history novel that will transport readers to another time and place. Romantic, exotic, yet remarkably similar to our own. So I thought that sounded really, really, really interesting. I do not believe it is a YA novel. I believe it is adult. So yeah, The Oracle of Stamboul by Michael David Lucas. Last one is R.A. Salvatore, The Ancient. Like I say, this is book 2. I said that in my first video, sorry. This is book 2 in the saga of the First King, which is a 4-book series. The first one is The Highwayman, which I have that one. These are fantasy books. And of course, because it's book 2, I'm not going to read this. I have read, I believe, 2 books out of the Demon Wars saga, and I think there are 3, and then there's kind of a addendum book that goes with that 3-book saga. This is a spin-off of that Demon Wars saga. So I've always liked R.A. Salvatore. I like his writing. Some people don't. You know how fantasy is. It either you like a fantasy writer or you don't, and I do like his writing. So that's it. That's the long haul. I don't believe I have anything else coming in at the moment other than maybe some Easton Press books. I think I have a Library of America book soon. So we'll see. I may not have a haul for you for a couple weeks. I'm not sure. So I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Hey, and don't forget, there is a Chapters Book Club channel starting up, and I do believe I have a video out there that I just posted if you want to know a little bit more about that. And I have joined that, and several people that I know that I think watch my channel have joined it. So just don't forget about that. See you later. Bye.